Hello and welcome to something that I like to call Riddie and the Lawman.
That's me.
This is my friend Ian, and he is
Hi.
the Lawman. I don't know about you, but have you ever sat and wondered sometimes whether the things that you hear are old wives' tales or true, especially when it is related to the law? Sometimes that you know something and you don't quite know that it's true, or you think it's true, and then when it actually comes to it, it's not, and you end up, with cake on your face. I'm going to be asking some of the dumbest questions to Ian. Are you ready?
I'm ready. It makes a change for it not to be Dave from the pub. Go on.
I say dumbest questions, the most asked questions that people most ask, and I have got a lawman to give me the right answers.
I go.
First of all, how are you doing, Ian? You okay?
I'm good, thanks, Riddie. How's you?
I'm not too bad. Thank you very much.
Good.
So, I have kids. Obviously, in the future, I would like to leave what I actually have, my assets. That's the right word, isn't it?
It's your assets.
I'd like to leave my assets to them. But I'm just wondering whether I can transfer stuff for my kids, transfer stuff to my kids, in my kids' names, etc. like that, like houses and my income, whilst I'm still alive, to try and avoid them paying tax.
Oh, God, that's so Dave at the pub advice.
Yeah.
Right.
He was very informative, Dave, last night. Actually.
Dave is always in the pub, and people see Dave before they see me, usually. Right. So basically your question is, I've got assets and I want to give them to my children. Okay, so my question is then, why? Why would you want to do that?
Well, I want them to be comfortable if I pass, or when I pass. Obviously,
in which case you would tend to leave your assets in your will rather than actually give them out.
So you reckon it's not a good idea then to...
I'll tell you, I mean, a lot of people basically are rightly concerned about nursing home fees. It's a big issue at the moment.
I don't think about it because I'm a builder. Builders don't necessarily end up in people's homes. Yeah. It's normally teachers and doctors and stuff. And lawyers.
Yeah. Honestly, it depends which one you choose. But generally, that is a big concern. And the reason why it's a concern is obviously because it is the cost. And particularly if it's social care, and I'll explain the difference between that in a moment, you are likely to pay, if you live long enough, virtually all of the assets you have into it, which, to be honest with you, we can mitigate, which I'll look at soon. But generally speaking, giving all of your assets away isn't actually going to prevent that, and I'll explain why. What assets do you have? What have you got at the moment?
Let's just say, for instance, I've got a house.
I've got the house, yeah.
A nice savings account.
Yeah.
Maybe some tools. I'm a builder. I have tools.
Right. I'm just thinking free job and the fee. So, okay, the house, that's the big one.
Yeah.
So we get lots and lots of calls that we say, basically, where I work. Can I transfer my house to my children? I don't pay nursing home fees. First and foremost, if you give your house to one of your children or any of your children, and at the moment they are happily married,
okay,
there's no reason to say, trust me, I'm in the law, there's no reason to say that marriage will remain happy. It can end up in divorce. If you've given your house away, your house technically can be a matrimonial asset.
Which means, so my daughter's future husband, because she's only 8 now, if they were to split up, he is entitled to 50% of that.
Well, he could certainly try and claim it.
Right, okay.
I mean, there's lots of things we can do by arguing resulting trusts and so on and so forth to actually try and stop that. But it's not a headache you want.
No.
Prevention is far better than cure. So,
especially because I've transferred everything over to my kids, so they don't have a headache. But by doing that, I've basically caused them a potential headache.
It's a double whammy loss potentially. Right. So that's one reason not to do it. Second one is there is what's known as the doctrine of deprivation, which is basically, in simple terms, you have deprived yourself of an asset.
Right.
So you've given your house away to your children. Heaven forbid you needed to go into nursing home care. The calculation is done. The question that's put is, where's the house? Because you will be asked what happened to the house.
It'll be down that I did have one.
You had a house and basically you've given it away. The question is, well, why did you give it away? Where it becomes obvious you've given it away for the purpose of avoiding nursing home fees, which it is, then essentially local authorities will simply take your means into account as if you still had that house.
Right.
Technically can actually reverse the transaction or anything like that. So the simple answer is it can't be done. Also, as well, there's what's known as the doctrine of reservation, just to actually put the icing on the cake, whereby I presume if you give the house, you intend to stay living in it.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, you don't fancy a tent outside.
Oh no, definitely not.
And well, you'll have to pay market rent to stay there.
Right, so my kids couldn't give me mates rates.
No, there's no mates rates allowable.
Right, okay.
So it's looked at as, say, a genuine market rent, upon against which tax is levied. It's there's a capital accrual on it, and so on and so forth. So essentially, you're losing money simply by doing it.
Right.
So no, you can't do it. And we would advise you not to do it.
Right, okay. Recently on Google, because that's my go-to for everything.
Lots of people's doing it.
I read about something called a family protection trust. Have you heard of that
those?
before?
Yes, I've heard of those.
So apparently you can put your house and your assets, so I've read, into that. Would that help?
Right, first of all, there's all sorts of weird and wonderful names these days for trusts. Family protection trusts, this type of trust, that type of trust. They're essentially made up of something which is, at the root and branch, a trust. Now, let me just start off with the basic thing here. People really don't understand what a trust is. Do you know what it is?
No.
No. And you're not unusual.
No.
Not lots of people don't. Think of a trust as being like a limited company.
Okay, yeah.
A limited company has its own separate legal personality. It's a legal entity in its own right. It can own things in its own right.
Yeah.
And is run by directors. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, a trust is run by trustees. Think of them as the company directors.
Right.
It has separate legal personality. It's an entity within its own right. Okay. So, let's just say you took your circumstances as they are and put your house in a family protection trust. In the same way you've given your house to a family protection trust, you could have given the house straight away to the children.
Right, okay.
So, question is, are you paying a market rent to live in the house?
Right. So basically everything that we just discussed on the other one applies there as well.
Applies there. Now, it's not in a sense as straightforward as that, because depending on how much money you do have, you can make properties subject to trust for its protection of your family. It's not as lucrative as it once was. A lot of the loopholes has been closed.
Oh, yeah.
But you can, if you actually have several houses, you can actually put these into trust. The idea of it being is that if they fall off the 7-year rule, and essentially it's what's known as a potentially exempt transfer, whereby if you put property into a trust and you soldier on for 7 years and a day, take more vitamins, and then essentially it falls off the radar for inheritance tax. But again, it's subject to, because it's registered with trust registration services these days, so it's subject to tax. There's capital gains assessments done, there's income tax and so on. But they can work, but it depends very much on individual circumstances. And I certainly wouldn't recommend them for someone of average means.
Yeah, who has one property.
Who has one property, one like most of us, it's hard enough keeping that going. There's a struggle keeping that going these days. But if you think to yourself, like, you've got a £325,000 tax allowance. Your wife has the same. Right. Okay. So combined, that's 650,000. Yep.
Yep.
On top of that, at the moment, you have a residential nil rate band allowance, which is £175,000 each.
Okay.
Again, 350,000. So between you and your wife, providing you're going to pass your property on to your children, you've got £1 million tax allowance.
Right, okay.
Before IHT even kicks in.
Yeah.
You transfer everything to a trust. Trusts don't tend to be married.
No, they don't, no.
I take the trust to be my other trust, lawfully wedded. So they don't have that. And also, trusts don't have children.
So the allowance for each individual
is
gone, and you're back down to 350?
Yeah, well, basically, you've got 325 over whatever's left.
Right.
And so I don't actually see why in where you've got average means you would actually exercise it. Incidentally, I have a very, very good friend who shall remain nameless, but if he's watching this, he'll know what I mean. And well, we were at university together, and he actually paid attention. I was daydreaming.
Oh, yeah,
and
as you do.
And he's actually made a small fortune, seriously, unpicking those types of trusts where they were sold inappropriately to people.
Right.
And it is an inappropriate sell, and he's made a fortune unpicking them and actually talking the Inland Revenue round from applying sort of like the taxes and letting it go back.
Right.
So, as I say, you can actually be making a huge mess with all good intentions, and more often than not, if you actually sold, and I mean sold rather than advised on these products, you can be being set up for a fall.
Wow.
You really can.
So basically, if you've got a net worth less than $1 million, it's best to leave and do nothing.
I would say your starting point, if I was being honest, probably about 2 to 3 million.
To start thinking about trusts.
Yeah.
Things, yeah.
Which, if you sort of like live in the sort of like inherited property in the middle of London and things like that,
Is easily done, isn't it?
it's easily done. I grant you. But I mean, if it's sort of like your average house in an average place, probably not. No. I'm in an average house in an average place, as you know. And as I say, it's not a recommended method. If you're going to contemplate it, I would definitely say see a good wealth advisor, wealth manager, financial planner, and get their advice and see what mechanisms are available. Don't just wade into the open blue sea because it looks good. Because it's very easy to actually get out of your depth, and it's very hard to get.
And there's lots of great whites in there too, isn't there?
Yes, there are, and you can be gobbled, and fees will be applied. Transactions, and I have a very good saying, as you know, you can't unfry an egg.
Yeah, okay.
So once it's fried, you've got to get a new egg because you can't get back what it's done. It can be a mess to unpick if it's wrong. If it's right and a trust is the correct mechanism and trusts are still good, they still have the place, great. But no, I wouldn't recommend, not immediately.
So my next question would be, what is a property protection trust, and how does it differ from a family protection trust?
Yeah, no, that is something which is altogether different. And it's probably because they're so similar in names that they're often confused. Right, at the moment, you're still a young man.
Just.
Well. So, and you've been married for a while, bought the house between you both, yeah? Chances are, if I was to hazard a guess, you own the house jointly. You're joint tenants of the property, yeah? Okay. That means you each own the property 100%. That means if one of you should pass, you carry on owning the property 100%. Now, this is my first point. This is often overlooked. I can give you a few horror stories on this, but if you are a joint tenant of the property, you cannot leave what you would consider your half as part of your will.
Right, okay, because it's owned 100% by
both
people. Oh, okay.
So it passes automatically by survivorship.
Okay. So if I was to pass, my wife 100% owns and I couldn't give anything of my share to anybody.
She's already got it.
Yeah, okay.
As I say, she was asking me the other day about margarine and stairs, and I've just said, not yet.
Okay.
So basically, you own it 100% now. That means if either of you had to go into, I say, nursing home care, we'll come back to this, like the nursing home care, then the calculation which is done by the local authority is done on the basis of 100% ownership, even though both your names are on. So what people do is they actually split their ownership by actually changing the way they hold the property from a joint tenancy to a tenancy in common.
Right, okay.
And it's easy to do. You just complete an SEV form, send that off to the land registry, and it's done.
So then it's a 50-50 ownership.
Then it's a designated 50% ownership each. That 50%, you can then give each other a life interest each.
Okay.
And then basically make a bequest that it passes to your children upon you passing.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that when you pass, you've left a life interest to the remaining person who can then sell the house, downsize, upsize, whatever. But ultimately, the actual full ownership is held in abeyance on trust for your children. When the last person standing goes, the whole 100% passes to the children.
Okay.
It means that should you have to go into nursing home care,
You've got enough to cover your fees.
enough to cover your fees because you've got your 50%.
Right, okay.
The 50% then, that is basically, it's there, but the other 50%, which is your partner's, is ring fence, it's protected
Mm-hmm.
from what would otherwise be a 100% calculation. Now, that is perfectly legitimate.
Right, okay.
At the moment it is. It changes. But that is why that is used. That is the most common. So it doesn't completely remove the sort of like the risk, but it does mitigate it,
Right.
potentially so.
Okay.
So that's the idea of it.
Cool. So there was another one that that I read about. It was a tenancy and a joint tenancy and a tenancy in common. Now, what is the difference between them?
Tell you what, have you got a piece of paper?
No. I would have brought this if
Tell you what, take hold of it.
you're supposed to put the lid on it first.
I know you're supposed to put the lid on it first.
This one's all right.
Oh, we'll go with that one then.
Go on.
Honestly, you still need the technology. Right, imagine this is your house. Take hold.
Okay.
Take hold.
This looks very suspect.
This looks very suspect. Right.
Not Christmas yet.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
Right, we're both the joint tenants.
Okay.
Right, I'm not going to say try and take it off,
No,
because you
no.
can easily rip it off it. But basically, neither of us can actually let go.
No.
Because we both own it 100%.
Okay.
Something happens to me, you're left owning it 100%.
Okay.
Right. If we're a tenancy in common, you cut it in half.
Lose all the water.
We lose all the water because everywhere. And I have that half, you have that half.
Right, okay.
That's the tenancy in common. It's where the house is split into designated shares.
All right. So again, it's what we discussed then.
It's exactly the same.
Okay,
But usually when I actually explain to clients, because when I did this when I was doing my degree back in the 20th century, I remember actually having an hour and a half lecture on that and coming out none the wiser, just utterly confused.
Just been talked at.
Yeah, and you actually reached the conclusion that the person who gave you the lecture didn't actually know what they were talking about themselves. But that is basically it. It's sort of the difference between both parties owning the bottle 100% and both parties owning half the bottle and actually being able to walk away with it.
So let's say, for instance, that my partner has just died and I've inherited the house.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that I can put that into a trust, or is it too late?
That's where basically you've been joint tenants, somebody's passed and you've actually got 100% of the property, no one left, and you're thinking, I'm worried that basically if I need to go into care, 100% is taken in.
Yeah.
And this is where people come back to the question, can I sign it all over to the children? Answer is no, you can't.
Okay.
However, what you can do, just about, it's still on the borders of deprivation, but it can still be done because of where the share came from.
Yeah.
You can vary a will. And what I mean by vary a will, you can actually alter a will, someone's will, up to 2 years after they've passed, if everybody agrees. So if you're the only beneficiary in the executor, you can change it. And what you would do is that you would vary the will. So you basically write a new will, as if your partner had written that one. And within that, you would actually designate a severance of the tenancy
to the children.
And give yourself a life interest in your partner's share.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep your share and basically give the 50% that the partner owned gifted to your children on the lifetime interest basis, which we've just said.
Okay.
So it can be done. Prevention is better than cure. Actually, while you're both with us, see a lawyer, better to do it now. But if push comes to shove, that is still a fallback position. But it's doable, but
left too long, basically.
Left too long. But
So
yeah.
basically, you need to kind of look into things like that now.
Yes.
Get
yes,
it sorted,
definitely.
because most people don't. Most people just leave things because no one thinks that they're going to die tomorrow, do they? So
Well, people try and pre-plan.
yeah,
People actually have this vision of how they're going to die. They've actually rehearsed it, I'm sure. So they think they're going to be in a hospital bed, and there's going to be time to actually just get the lawyers round at the last moment to actually do it.
Yeah.
Everything. And
on the
you
death
have yes, it'll be done. Unfortunately, life doesn't pan out often quite how you would imagine. I know it sounds morbid, but any of us can go at any time. I mean, we can. I mean, nobody knows. I mean, the funny thing is, if you did actually know when you're actually going to go, it would alter the world's economy overnight. Because
Indeed, it would.
you know, I mean, so would absolute proof of an afterlife. I will actually prove to you there is an afterlife.
Yeah.
The whole world would change overnight with absolute proof, because people think, why am I still here?
Yeah.
You know,
I want to get there.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's very much, but people still have this sort of predilection with wills. Well, I'm not going to go yet. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Don't take the chance. Do a will.
Yeah.
Actually think what you need to do. And do it. Ideally, you should review your will and change it, and possibly alter it every 5 years.
I was thinking 5 then.
Yeah.
It was a good number.
Yeah, it's a good number. Because a will is a snapshot of your life that exists when you write it, but things can change.
Definitely, yeah.
And so you do need to actually update them. And as I say, it's well, to coin the phrase, it's better to have an old will than no will at all.
And yeah, okay.
And I say this is why.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
that was very intriguing. So you're a probate lawyer, is that correct?
I'm a wills and probate lawyer, done course protection work, and a trust lawyer as well. So draft and prepare a variety of trusts and all sorts of things. So
cool. Well, based on that, if we'd like to do this a bit more regularly, because I know people don't know the law as much as you do, because you're the lawman. So if you do have any questions, send them in, write them in the comments, please. And
nothing too complicated.
No, and we'll get it written down and we'll get it asked to the lawman.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.